Okay, so Scat, let's get right to that. Uh, of course, we have our pay-per-view come early June of 2020. Backlash, our second, I think, quarantined pay-per-view, our third actually. WrestleMania was our first. Next to Money in the Bank, then of course with the corporate ladder match, and of course our biggest selling point from a two-day event, a match that was literally on the HQ of the WWE to push the greatest wrestling match of all time involving a mid 40s Edge and of course is an out of his prime Randy Orton. In that equivalency, I mean, I guess the selling point are these are two decorated world champions. One's a Hall of Famer, one's a near Hall of Famer. I guess it's the selling point of what they're trying to do for the pay-per-view. And my expectations, thanks I literally have watched primarily more of Randy Orton's career than Edge because he started like late 90s. Randy was like early 2000s, what making his name known more on Raw than SmackDown. And of course, uh, being an incredibly successful wrestler in the WWE, being a homegrown talent. So is Edge. And I guess the selling point is to see the growth in especially Edge's return in a traditional professional wrestling match. That was literally the selling point over their promo. Literally like 2 weeks after, like 3 or 2 weeks after WrestleMania or Money in the Bank. That'll be primarily Orton's challenge, and it's like if he wanted a rematch for getting an upset loss from the Mania match, fine, make that the pay-per-view selling point. A rematch, Viper versus Rated R Superstar for the second time. I guess that's could be a selling point because at least those are two household names that, of course, old school fans and current fans alike know who Edge and Randy Orton is. They don't have to sell it to the point of it's one of the greatest professional wrestling matches of all time. Randy Orton half-asses it against guys that are at least the same level as him, and Edge hasn't gotten into a match that doesn't require him not taking bumps in a long time. I'm talking about since WrestleMania 27 against Alberto Del Rio. That was the last time he actually had a traditional wrestling match until he vacated the belt and announced his early retirement later on the night of Raw, the time when he was world's heavyweight champion. And it was cool to see him back. It was cool to see this feud he had with Orton. I thought they would blow it off, and if they wanted to do a rematch, that was fine. I just didn't need them to announce it as the greatest wrestling match. That makes zero sense. These guys wrestled years upon years, even in the 2010s, like 2010, back when they were both on Raw, when they were both rated RKO. They wrestled each other before, even in Fatal 4-Way matches, tag team matches, a few matches, young Orton, young Edge. I don't understand the selling point of this. It's like WWE is trying to denounce that they can be a marquee as well. Thanks like AEW had Iron Mike Tyson, Brian Cage, and The Revolt appear just in under 5 days. What have WWE done? Fire nearly everybody. Half-heart firings with Kurt Angle and Drake Maverick showing up on NXT, and practically undervalue most of their mid-card championships, even giving it to a perennial multi-year jobber out of Apollo Crews. The Intercontinental title finally actually having some importance. The women's tag team titles being an afterthought. The 24/7 championship on an NFL player that's not even going to be there all the time. And of course, the two tag team titles ain't shit next to the Universal Championship that hasn't been prestigious, even though they put it on Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, and still haven't made the title even go to at least equivalency of the world's heavyweight title. Screw it, the WWE's ECW Championship is more prestigious than the Universal Championship, and I will hold that until the day I die, or at least until they make the Universal Championship seriously. And most of our established future main eventers haven't even displayed that much of, getting people to actually watch the product, especially on SmackDown, when it's on a big network like Fox. Ratings are still declining. Next Monday Night Raw and the 3-hour mark, they're going, and many other stuff is just completely off the wazoo thanks to controversy. Stuff I'm hearing about Seth Rollins, I'm not going to announce until probably a separate video. And still, they think the biggest selling point of Backlash, instead of McIntyre versus Lashley, two guys that hasn't been getting that much of high acclaim or that much TV time or that much on the main event spot, but you'll give it to two aging wrestlers out of Orton that's finally getting grays in his face and Edge that looks like an old woman with abs. It's just that type of stuff that makes me confused. What is WWE like? Vince is a genius. I get it. He's a business genius. Does he not know what a selling point of a wrestling match is? And people are gonna denounce me probably in a thing like I'm an old school asshole. Like I'm not gonna wish for everything to be the ruthless aggression era. He sold of the WrestleMania main event like Ambrose, Rollins, and Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship to be at the main event of Battleground of 2016 instead of waiting until WrestleMania 33 for the next year. But we got Goldberg and Roman Reigns. I mean, Undertaker and Roman Reigns. Really? And another pseudo dream match was in Saudi just last year that I completely critically bashed because of how poor taste and how rushed and how sloppy it was because it had two men in their 50s trying to sell that they can go over 10-minute match. When obviously Goldberg and Brock Lesnar did a better like Survivor Series of 2016, and Goldberg couldn't even go for a goddamn choke slam without like landing with 2 centimeters apart from the mat. It's that bad. And you think that Edge and Orton are going to have the greatest match in wrestling history? Not the year, not in the pay-per-view, in history, in Backlash. And they call it Backlash, yet you barely see any rematches except Orton and Edge. Great. I feel so happy. I feel so happy. Oh boy, that's just my opinion on the whole selling point of Backlash. Do I hope that Backlash becomes successful? Absolutely. Do I feel like Edge and Orton match will be something to watch? Probably. Is there obviously better matches to be on the card? Yes. But do I feel like this whole selling point of two aged, out of their prime, uh, decorated wrestlers that are obviously going to half-ass their way into a match? Absolutely. It's just a matter of a fact. It's just a poor fact of life, and that's all I got to give my 2 cents on. Thanks for watching. This is DSC Show. Like, comment, subscribe if you want more content like this. Please try to help my channel grow. I want to hit up to 30 as quick as possible, and you're one of the only ones that can help me grow. So that's it. Come from me.